back to the Fox Robbins Business Show. Great to have you back. We have a little different twist for this episode, or these next two episodes that we're going to do. We're going to have a little bit of fun, I hope. But I want to say a little different twist. We're going to talk about business etiquette. And I know normally you're always talking about balance sheets, P&L, cash flow statement,
marketing,
relationship with your bank, raising money, hiring and firing people, and creating we do all that business stuff, but in there somewhere, business owners have all the weight on their shoulders, and they have to be a little bit of everything, and that includes, the subject of business etiquette.
Classy.
And we're going to talk about that. Well, this is the Fox Robbins Business Show, and I'm the co-host, Bill Fox, and the other co-host, without which we have no show, which is the thermodynamic, ubiquitous, potent, and phosphorescent Coach Robbins.
That's me, Billy. How are you? Thermodynamic. Ooh, I like that.
This is going to be
Could be hot stuff.
Yeah, that means you are hot stuff. Yeah. This is going to be 21 business etiquette rules, for business owners that you must know. And we're going to rip through this, but I think we're going to have some fun doing it. And it's by, we picked this up from an interesting article by Barbara Pachter, and she likes to point out that in professional social situations can be awkward. And unfortunately, many people wind up making fools of themselves. I hope not, but that's...
well, that's not good.
But that's what she sees.
I agree. I've seen it.
And that's because they, being like business owners, or even, the employees of business owners in a social setting, don't understand etiquette rules in business that differ from other settings. I mean, social or casual settings or whatever.
Absolutely. Especially the employees, and so many employees have access to customers and other suppliers and other stakeholders in a business. Employees sometimes can be the worst as far as business. You get your.
Well, so you and I are talking not just about the business owner only, but other people.
Everybody who's in contact with somebody that's a stakeholder in the business.
And number one, Coach, is. I don't know whether this is obvious or not, but Barbara says stand when you're being introduced. And that is as opposed to like sitting, someone's being introduced to you, you sit there and stare upward.
Hi, and you reach up and shake their hand. No, and it's not just because a lady walks up to you, a gentleman walks up to you. It's just proper etiquette to stand up and stick your hand out and shake his hand, as well as, a lot of people will do it because it's like a personal etiquette thing, that a woman walks in, you stand up, okay? Well, it doesn't matter anymore. It's a woman or a man. The proper thing to do is to stand up, shake their hand, look them in the eye, and, greet them properly.
Look them in the eye, that's not on here. It should be.
It should be, yeah, absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
And another one is always... Number two is always say your full name.
Right, yeah. Well, I don't mean to say, hi, I'm Clifford E. Robbins Jr., No, but hi, my name is Cliff Robbins, Well,
instead of, hi, I'm Cliff, and leave it.
Cliff's not enough.
I'm Robbins.
No, you should say, I'm Cliff Robbins, very nice to meet you, or what's your name? And also, just as an aside, when we go to these meetings, we have a name badge for a reason. Make sure you put it on the right side. 99, it's not in this, but 99% of the people I see put it over here like it's a logo. Because when you shake hands with somebody, you're looking right at their right side. And you can see their name, and when they say, hi, I'm Bill Fox, you see William, and you go, okay, great.
Hey, speaking of which, this is such a tiny point, but that name badge thing, it's it's ubiquitous. You see it everywhere. But I say, don't put the badge down here.
Put it up here.
Put it up here.
Absolutely.
Now, why is that? Because I'm saying this because I'm looking at you. I don't have to go.
Yeah,
stare down.
What's your name?
It's on your belly button. If I look at you, it's right there.
At eye level.
Yeah.
Almost at eye level.
Make a point. Put it here, not crooked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, by the way, name. I was going to say, Fox. I was born with a simple name, even though I have to say no E and one X. Even with a three-letter name.
Yeah, right.
Robbins is still pretty. But what happened, Coach, when you have a long or complex name like a lot of consonants, or it's long a difficulty. How do people handle that? I've never been faced with that problem.
I have. I've met people, when they say their name, and I'm glancing down, and hopefully it's up high where I can see their name tag, if there is a name tag. And it reminds me of a show that was on TV, I don't know, 20 years ago. Barney something, who was a cop.
Yeah.
And one of the cops in there was named Wojciechowicz. And people would say, Wojciechowicz, how do you spell that? He's just the way it sounds. And it was one of the running jokes in the show. Yeah. Barney Miller, he was a cop.
Barney Miller, right.
Wojciechowicz, just the way it sounds.
Number 3, Coach, is always initiate the handshake if you're the higher ranking person or host in a given situation.
Absolutely. If you're walking up to somebody, you should immediately stick out your hand, man or woman, and say, hello, welcome, because I'm the host, right? I'm glad you're here. My name is Cliff Robbins. Right. And what is your name? You can follow that up. Yeah. Very nice to meet you, and start a conversation. Always reach your hand out first, especially if you're the host. And if the other person doesn't, and a lot of times you're not the host, and maybe the other person isn't the host either, I still think you walk up to somebody and you put your hand out,
That's a good practice.
It's just a good etiquette thing. And also, don't give them a fish, and don't break their damn hand. I've shaken hands with some people and walked away in pain, I'm not strong, but I'm not that weak. It's just a good firm handshake, but not weak and not so strong that, you crush their knuckles.
I think that's an interesting thing you say. I think it's etiquette wise. Your handshake, you respond with what you get.
Exactly.
If it's a soft handshake,
try to be a little softer, especially a lady.
If it's a strong
if it's
individual,
a
stronger grip,
you try to match it.
But don't just shake hands no matter the person. Right. Be a little sensitive in that direction.
Absolutely.
And respond to what the handshake that you receive.
Believe me, on occasion I've shaken hands with some guy, and I swear to God, he was trying to hurt me.
And probably not on purpose. I don't know.
No, he's just a big, strong guy. And, hey, how are you? Grab your hand. Why don't you just throw me on the floor, for God's sake?
Number 4 is, guess what? Dress appropriately. What does that mean? Again, it's a sensitivity thing. Think about and know where you're going.
Well, absolutely.
And what's going on there? You could overdress.
Yeah.
How many times have I heard you talk about, if you go to Geek City, the computer people.
You go to Blizzard,
and you get your Wall Street suit with the stripes and the
hanky, You're dressed wrong. You go to Blizzard. My son works in California at the game company.
Yeah.
All right. Uh-huh. He doesn't even own a shirt with buttons on it, okay? And, it's jeans, it's a T-shirt, it's always brown or gray, or, it's not like a bright red, or, even there, It's, try to understand the culture of the company, particularly you're going to, and try to dress just like one level up. I wouldn't go to some place like that and wear jeans and a T-shirt.
I wouldn't go in a T-shirt,
I'd wear a shirt, and maybe not a jacket, maybe a polo shirt and some chinos, or just a little step up.
I'd wear this shirt, no tie, and have a pair of slacks.
Absolutely, just one step above, and you're okay. Don't go in a tuxedo, Don't go in a 3-piece suit, But if you're going to IBM, even today, then you're not going to go in a sweatshirt and jeans. You just don't do that. You try to understand. Here's the best rule I ever heard about how to dress in a business environment. If you walk in and you conduct your business, whatever that may be, and then you leave, and they're not thinking about what you wore in any negative way, you address correctly. Okay?
Right.
If you walk in wearing a tuxedo into place, some technology company, and they walk out and say, what the heck is wrong with that guy, right? If you leave and it's okay if they say, gee, he wore a nice suit, that's a nice thing, but that's risky to try to hit that. Just think about, I'm here for business, I don't want them noticing in a negative way what I'm wearing.
Right.
So what is the culture of this business and how should I be dressed? I think you remember that when we did a lot of technology shows with people like Peter Carlson.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Peter owns a tie. I've never seen Peter in a tie, but tech people don't wear ties. They do wear jackets. He's always nicely dressed in a button-down shirt, an open collar, and that's the culture of that industry almost, if you will, and that's fine.
Right. Here's an interesting one that Barbara Packer brings up is only say thank you once or twice during a conversation. There are people who overdo the thank you part, right? It's like obsequious. I mean, it's overkill.
Absolute sycophant. Hey, you like fancy words?
Sycophant.
I mean, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It can be overdone. Certainly, I mean, you can overdo politeness too. It's a lot easier to underdo it, and that's why there's a couple of shows about it. But it's nice at some point to say thank you very much. But then that person may continue talking, right?
Right.
And you don't want to say, hey, look, I said thank you, I'm out of here. You're polite and you're listening and maybe, continuing the conversation.
But if you picked up a habit of saying thank you too often, you
can say it too often. Absolutely. You don't want to say it too often. It doesn't mean anything if you say it 25 times in a conversation.
Number 6 is the advice here is send separate thank you notes to everyone involved. Of course, thank God, for email these days. It used to be, like you see here on the slide, writing. It used to be handwritten notes.
Always, yeah,
in the when I came into business, when I first came in. But now you get this email thing.
Well, when you first came in, it was on papyrus, wasn't it?
It was, I think.
It was on clay tablets for me.
It was during the reign of Henry XIV.
Cuneiform, right before the Civil War, right?
Send a separate thing. I think that Barbara is trying to say, if there were 10 people at a 4, 5, 10. 12 people, let's say, where you had a lunch or at a meeting, to send a blast email with all of them. She's saying no, you would
individually. You want to take the time and say, Bill Fox, boom. Right. It's okay to cut and paste the same email, Bill, very nice to meet you, thank you for the time we spent, blah, blah, and then cut and paste that same message, but do it individually. Don't put everybody's address on there, just do it. And by the way, when it comes to the handwritten note, that's still a very good thing, but it's for a special thank you.
When would you do that? I mean,
somebody gave you an order. My favorite thing, somebody actually gave me an order and they pay their bills. Thank you very much.
Right.
I would, especially a new customer, send them a note. Thank you very much. I look forward to doing business with you. We'll take good care of you and reiterate some of the things you said. And a nice handwritten note.
That would be on business letterhead, probably, wouldn't it? I mean,
on business letterhead or a card. A nice card, that maybe you've got cards with your company logo on it, which I think is smart and blank on the inside.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's special when you do something like that, especially in today's world. Right. I mean, we get, emails out the wazoo. I must delete 50 emails a day that I don't even want, I have no idea where they get my name, but, you just, a handwritten note on a special thank you is a good thing still.
Here's a big one. This is a big one for today, Coach, is leave your phone in your pocket.
Or in your briefcase or in your car or other. When I teach, and I've been doing it for, God knows how long, but for the last decade or more, I mean, every kid in the classroom has an iPhone or a cell phone of some sort. Of course, 10, 12 years ago it was a flip phone. And I always said to them then, the first thing I said is, take your phone and turn it off. I actually said worse things at times. If I got angry, I'd say, look, take your phone, right? Put it on stun, okay? Or I'd say something like, put it on vibrate, sit on the darn thing and enjoy the call quietly. But I noticed today that it is, I never have to say it, and on rare occasion do I hear a phone ring. People are in tune to that.
Right.
Now, it's happened to me that I just forgot to turn my ringer off, and it's in my briefcase or in my pocket. What works for me today is I leave it in the briefcase. I've got my little Apple Watch. And if it's a phone call and I'm in a meeting, I really actually like this Apple Watch. I know it's been a flop for most people, especially because young people don't wear watches, but it's been very nice for me because if I get a phone call, it just vibrates on my arm, and I can quickly just look at it and see who's calling and see if it's important and if I should step out of the room or whatever. So,
you're not doing it like this lady on the picture.
No, that's ridiculous. That's just, I mean, this is great. That's flat out ignorant, you know. I mean, give me a break, you know.
That's not to say no one ever does that, but that's pretty bad.
Well, that's the ultimate of bad. Yeah, I agree.
Use professional headshots. You know, I guess that where would you use a headshot these days, particularly on social media, is one thing.
All over social media. Your LinkedIn picture should be a professional headshot. Your Facebook picture doesn't necessarily, because the business, my Facebook picture is a caricature of me that my employees gave to me 25 years ago, of me, my big head, sitting in an airplane, flying my airplane, you know? And it's cute, but that's Facebook, and that's personal, right? But if you go to LinkedIn, it's me sitting there with a navy jacket and a tie and just looking and smiling, and it's just a headshot. Even on Facebook, well, the worst ones are the ones where the people aren't getting enough sunlight, that there's no picture, it's just a white, you know, you've seen them.
Oh, yeah,
you should have a picture there if you're on LinkedIn. My goodness, you know, you've got pictures in your phone. But the worst ones that I see are, you know, somebody with their dog or, you know, on LinkedIn, it's a business site, it's a B2B. It should be a professional headshot, and there are places to call for professional headshots, not, you know, I mean, I've seen some, hey, you know, hair flying, you know, no, not on LinkedIn, not on a professional.
Number 9, Coach, is always double check that you have selected the correct email recipients. That would be a good idea. I'm sure you're going to agree with that.
Couldn't agree more, especially now, of course, through the University of Massachusetts Amherst, you know, our email address, we have the disclaimer right on the bottom for legality that if it's gone to the wrong person, just let us know and delete it. I mean, that has to be on your professional email. On the bottom, the disclaimer has to be on all of our email going through. But I mean, certainly my own email, my own Yahoo email, which I've had for God knows 20 years, whatever. I don't have a disclaimer, but that's used for personal. But once in a while, I tell you, the one that I make the mistake with the most is in texting. That I'm texting with somebody. And it could be a little bit of business. And then I'll go to text something else to my wife or my daughter, and I send it to the wrong text, and you get back question marks and say, oops. So yeah, you got to double check who you send this stuff to, particularly sensitive things, you know.
Number 10, this is a good one here. If you forgot someone's name, admit it. And I don't know, that's one of my things is that, I was going to ask you, but I have never been proficient in going and meeting people and you know, instantly remembering their names. I've read articles about that. It's for me, it's a big difficulty. I don't recall.
It has been all of my professional life a huge difficulty for me. First of all, my hearing's not that good because I wear hearing aid in the right ear. But it's also an attention thing that I think I have a hard time remembering people's names even when I've just met them.
Yeah.
You walk up to
Yeah.
somebody and say, "Hi, I'm Cliff Robbins." "Hi, I'm Bill Fox." "Yeah, who? What?"
Yeah.
5 minutes later, I don't remember the guy's name, unless I work very hard, and I do focus and work very hard in a group setting, especially when somebody walks up to me and I say, they say their name first. "Hello, I'm Bill Fox. I'm with, Fox Robbins TV," and I go, "Bill Fox," quietly in my head, without hoping my lips aren't going. And I'm saying in my head, "Bill Fox, Bill Fox, Bill Fox."
Right.
It's okay. I know my own name, so I can get that out, even though I said Bill Fox in my own head 3 or 4 times. And there's a way of remembering people's names. Putting a fox tie on them. All the silly things.
There is that mnemonic thing.
The mnemonic thing. That's what I'm talking. Well, you use fancy words. Yeah, that's very true. Though it's mnemonic. I put a dollar bill on your face or on your shoulder and a fox's tail for a tie.
Yeah.
And believe me, if you work at it, and the sillier it is, the better it is.
Yeah.
But you got to work at it. That's the bottom line. It's really not. It's something that I think it's the thing. And at the start of my professional business career, over 5 years ago, I had to focus on it. I took the Dale Carnegie course, Dale Carnegie sales course. I taught it as a graduate assistant. And one of the things they teach you, the most important words somebody can hear is their own name. Dale Carnegie, the best habits of bright people, whatever the hell, I forget the name of the book, but it's
how to win friends and influence people.
Thank you. It's a 100-year-old book, but it's still true. It's music to people's ears, especially when you walk back up to the guy and say, "Excuse me, Bill, I just wanted to say thank you very much. Nice to meet you." And instead of walking up and saying, "Hey, you, hey, buddy," but what this is saying is, if you have truly forgotten, you can do it in a very delicate way. You just say something, "Oh, gee, you know what? I'm getting old. Blame yourself. Whatever you want to do. I forget your name." And somebody say, "Well, it's Bill Fox." "I'm sorry. Bill, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
What can I do for you? Or how are you? Or, admit it. Don't try to fudge it.
That is so hard, Coach.
It is not easy
I
to
hate
do.
that.
But it's better than saying,
"Well, I forgot your name." I mean, it's God.
"I'm sorry." Yeah, but you can do it in a polite way and say, "Oh, geez, I am so sorry. I'm an idiot.
I have your name again, please.
Escapes me for the moment." Yeah. And then you say, "Oh, just escapes me" is a good out, right? That I forgot, right? But it's you got to, instead of saying, "Bill, Bill, is it Bill?" Mumble it.
Right.
People do that. Walking, no, just admit it.
Speaking of which, along this line is when if you're being introduced to someone, you're being introduced, or someone is being introduced to you, whatever. One of the hard thing would be if you mumble your name.
Yeah.
If I'm being introduced to you, saying, "Hi, I'm Bill Fox."
Cliff Robbins. Yeah.
I think at least in we're talking here about business settings.
Yeah.
Going to lunch, going to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, going to a convention,
any convention,
or going to see your banker, going to see
or a
all your
customer.
investment people, whatever you do in a business setting. But people should at least enunciate your name and speak it out instead of going.
Well, it's a good thing to repeat it. You walk up to me and you say, "Of course, with you, baby, they're going to hear the voice, right?" But if you walk up to me and say, "I'm Bill Fox," I say, "Bill Fox? Bill, very nice to meet you." Bill Fox, Bill Fox, Bill Fox is going on in my head, right?
That's when I say 1X, no E.
And it's a funny thing. It's kind of cute, and it also helps me remember.
Actually, that's what that might be a memory aid.
It's a memory aid for me. You've given me a memory aid. You've given me a leg up on remembering your name. But absolutely.
And number 11, point number 11 is greet people at work. Mm-hmm. Especially, you as a business owner. I mean, you could just walk in, walk into the office, say nothing.
Yeah, of course. You could walk in and
I'm the boss. I mean, I don't know what.
I own the company. I would walk in any one of my stores And I mean, the first thing I'm going to see if I walk in the front door at the counter is going to be one or two of the countermen. And I made it a point to know their names, quite frankly. They didn't have name tags or anything.
No.
I think now I probably should have given them that.
Well, you were too cheap to give them a...
Yeah, paper name tag, even no, a plastic one. No, I didn't ever even thought of it. I just thought about it at this very moment. It was not a bad idea. But no, I
Our
walk
buddy
in.
David Major does that. You know, he's got
name tags.
he's got the
It's
work
great.
shirts or whatever.
It's
the name.
great. No, you know, the work shirt with the name on it is
Yeah.
great because you can see that. But I always walked into one of my stores and I'd say, "Hey, good morning, Ron. How are you? How's it going? Busy? Yeah, great." Little conversation, just light conversation. You know.
Right.
Usually, what would happen is I'd walk into a store and I'd say, "Hey, Pete, how are you? Good morning. Hey, boss, how you doing?" And somebody would yell out, "Quick, get him a cup of coffee and nobody will get hurt." It was just a joke that went through the company, but it's because I walk in and I own the company and, you know, I greet whoever I'm talking to. You know, it doesn't have to be just the manager. You know, it could be a truck driver. As a matter of fact, just recently, my buddy Pete was at a company and he said, "Gee, Cliff, I used to work for Cliff. I was his truck driver. He was a nice guy." Quite frankly, vaguely remember, I had hundreds of employees, you know, but I vaguely remember this guy being a truck driver at the Cape store and everything.
Yeah.
A great guy, you know, good kid, but, you know, I mean, they remember me and I kind of remember them, hopefully.
So this is a good one. Where you would agree with that one.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you walk in, especially, I don't care who it is, you don't have to be the owner of the company. You walk in and just a coworker. You know, you're
Right.
working with these people. You want to have a good relationship with them. Hey, who are you? How's it going? Yeah. Have a nice weekend. It's Monday morning. Terrific.
Well, we're gonna go on to a second episode
This is
because
fun.
we've got some more points
Right.
to make in this regard in this.
There's a lot more.
etiquette. And so we'll come back and thank you for watching Fox Robbins Business Show. And please feel free to send any comments that you might have to foxrobbins@gmail.com. Make those nice, have good etiquette when you ask the questions. And we will see you guys next time.